Good morning. I know that it's been a minute since I last posted. Said I would try to post more, and I intend to. It's just, I really don't care to hear myself drone on, and, uh, I'm just really not a fan of this. I'm just trying. I'm trying to be relevant in the content I deliver instead of sensationalizing uh, has been stories from my life or, anyway, I'm trying to be relevant to matters that are germane to the world we live in today in our lives. Uh, with that said, I just like to start with a quick little prayer to my gods. Hail Odin, Odin hail. Hail the Holy Aesir and the Holy Vanir, the Holy Alfar and the Holy Disir in your reverent and venerable name. Hail to you, Odin, and hail to you all. I had a conversation recently with some kin out of state, and I hadn't heard from him for a while. And you know, the reasons why were, very, pernicious, to say the least. And without naming names, I'm just gonna use his example for what I'd like to talk about this morning. It goes back to what I talked about last time about honor and honoring what you say you'll do. So, you know, uh, in this particular case, uh, there was betrayal of loyalty and kinship. Uh, excuse me. It's an age old story. Whether you look at it biblically, Cain and Abel, or you look at it, heathen like, there's brothers against brothers, this particular incident uh, regards an individual who was serving in a position of a goli, which is to say a priest or a minister of the Old Norse faith of Odinism. This is a highly trusted position. I myself am an ordained goli. I take this position very seriously. I've been ordained since 1995. And, the people you serve, their crises and um, issues that arise in their life do not occur on your time schedule or what's convenient for you, and you always have to be there for them. Uh, Conversely, the joy of officiating over marriages, new births, uh, namings, land takings, things such as that is just it's an honor and a privilege. You know, the privilege of securing the confidence of uh, an individual or numerous individuals who you minister to, who you serve, uh, is so sacred. Uh, to violate it, just puts you in a realm of, gosh, just we see every day in the news just about some Catholic priest or some cleric somewhere who violated children or just numerous violations where they're defrocked. In some cases, not even defrocked until years and years later, when so much of it's been unearthed that the church of that particular denomination cannot deny the wrongdoing anymore. Uh, in this particular case, I had a kinsman uh, who was betrayed by his Golian brother, his kinsman, in so much as, he sought carnal relations with his wife, or his girlfriend, actually. Uh, and turns out this guy's been philandering for numerous years, cheating on his own girl, with several women. Um, but, but as much as that is dishonorable and foul, uh, the worst part of it is the people he served uh, during all this time. In his heart, he knows that he's unpure and unclean, yet he's performing bloats and sumbles, which are religious services in the Odinist faith, and he's performing marriages and name givings to new babies born into that kindred and such forth. All the while he's performing these services, knowing this, and even more so, hugging on this other man that he calls brother, and telling how much he loves him. When in his heart he knows that he's uh, cheated, been, you know, he's violated the sanctity of that kinship and of that office of Godi. Uh, this is not unique to any particular faith, but it goes back to what I talked about last time, honor. You know, I'm of the mind that if your honor has a price, a purchase price on it, if you're willing to forfeit your honor for capital gain, for sexual pleasure, for substance abuse, for whatever shortcoming it may be, uh, I mean, your honor's forfeit long ago. It is not intact, no matter what you believe in your heart. Uh, whatever we do in life, whatever shortcomings we have, to correct those errors on our own without being found out, without being forced out of embarrassment or what have you, but just to correct those errors because it's the right thing to do, because you're walking the same way you're talking, because you're about something, you know? That's a very honorable thing in itself. To take the opposite road of that and to just keep suppressing it further and further and further is not only dishonorable, it's odious behavior of the highest level. Uh, I went on last time about how people don't do what they say they'll do out here a lot, and it's true. And in the joint before I got out, it was starting to get like that with these youngsters coming in and stuff, and even some of the older guys that were coming in that just been around. It was just getting to be the norm, if you will, and just made those old school folks that you knew that much more uh, valuable to you. You held on to that. I mean, I knew guys that were once enemies of mine, black and brown, but their word was inviolate. Their word, if they told me they would do something, they would do it. If they said something was about something, it was about that. And I did the same thing. Uh, First and foremost, to your own, be true, but also to the others where you can. Be genuine as well. I mean, you should always be a genuine individual. Uh, this be my post for the month, unless I decide to post something else along the way. So I'd like to also bring up something else at this point that today's the 27th of April. In 2 days, uh, or 3 days, excuse me, 3 days, the 30th, I'll have 29 years clean. You know, and that's a big deal to me. You know, I look back and think about times where I used to use or uh, abuse substances, and I just think, what was I thinking? I mean, looking back that far, it's like how can you just violate yourself in such a way and just call it fun or partying? Uh, I get that everybody's different and everybody lives by a different beat, the drum, if you will. Yet nothing good comes out of any kind of abusive behavior towards yourself. Because when you abuse yourself in any fashion, whether it's drugs, gambling, pornography, infidelity, whatever the hell you're doing, it's damaging your family, your immediate family, your kin, and then your friends and your associates thereafter, and then the community in which you live. I mean, it's just a ripple effect. So, you know, there's that. You know, other than that, my life is just it's a struggle right now. I've been for the first time in my life. I mean, the very first time in my life that I can think of, I've succumbed to bouts of depression. I've been out uh, going on 11 months, which is a wonderful gift. It's a wonderful gift. I haven't been able to find any work. I'm just looking for part-time work. I haven't been able to find anything. I mean, I've put in applications, so many applications, and even though it's illegal, I suspect first and foremost people see the age. They see I'm about to be 62, and in their mind it's like, oh, we would want to invest in somebody younger. Then on top of that, when they see the gap of successful employment or any employment for that matter outside of prison, for basically the last 40 years. Uh, you're just, there's just nothing happening, and, it sucks. It's made me feel less than somebody who's being able to contribute. Uh, and, so, I'm struggling with that a little bit, you know, dealing with my PTSD, on a weekly basis with groups through the VA. And that works a little bit sometimes, and sometimes it just doesn't. I think more than anything, it just lets me know that I'm not alone. I'm not the only guy feeling like this or going through the kind of things that I'm going through. You know, I don't believe in victimizing yourself, so I don't. I don't dwell on things. Things just are what they are. My emotional state is what it is. I mean, I deal with it, and I suck it up and I move along. And like I used to say all the time, I suck it in and blow it out. You know what I mean? But it's rough. I have my good days out here that are just. I look around and I marvel at the fact that I'm out here. That even after almost 11 months, almost a year, I can't believe I'm out here still. And I told the parole commissioners when they granted my parole, and the DA herself, that I would not make fools of them. They would not be sorry that they made that decision to give me a chance. And I've honored that, and I continue honoring that. So no matter how hard things get, I remind myself what it was like, for decades, in those dungeons, just daydreaming about having problems out here. I used to think, hey, if people complain, they need to sit in a cell for about fucking a year just to get a get right attitude, check themselves. I'd give anything to have those problems because that means I'm free. I have my liberty. Well, I've got those problems in spades now, and I have to remind myself sometimes, hey, I'm out here, and it's a privilege, and I don't take that lightly. And so I deal with my problems, and I just keep moving forward. I keep serving the community that places their faith in me, spiritually and religiously. And I mean, my problems are just as valid or real as anybody else, but they are secondary to those I serve. So there's that. I've been up in the Sierras hiking lately and just spending time up there with the gods, my wife, and sometimes my dogs, and just shutting everything else out and listening to what the wind has to say as it rustles through the trees, or what the birds have to say, the rush of the waters that runs over rocks in the river, comes down a waterfall. It puts things into perspective about my problems not being so great after all. And because I'm proactively working towards taking corrective measures, they'll work themselves out. You know, if you got friends that are struggling, don't just blow them off. Listen to what they have to say. You might save a life. Because I'm a vet and I deal with VA system law, especially for PTSD. Used to be 22 vets a day would kill themselves was the numbers. It's much higher than that now. And when you know of one of these people, it comes a little closer to home. You think to yourself, did I cross paths with and not have the time to listen? There's a lot of men and women out here in society today with a lot of things that are going on, and they're inundated with the depressing news and the negative news, and they got their own issues, and puts them in a very dark spot. If you're struggling with this, there's help out there available. If you know somebody who's struggling with this kind of stuff, you'd be a friend or a family member that's true, and help these people along. Listen to what they have to say. If you hear something wrong, say something to somebody. Help get these people the help they need. If you're any kind of a soul inside you, and you find out that you could have been the difference and you weren't, and somebody took their own life, I mean, that's going to eat at you, knowing that you could have stopped them maybe by being a positive influence before they took their own wind, And so it's just something to reflect on. I know I'm all over the place today. I just, I sit there and I'm starting to think normally now. It's a new normal, I think about what used to be normal to me. I was thinking about this, reflecting on this in my meditations just yesterday, as a matter of fact. I thought to myself, there was a time, for example, in 1986 when I was at San Quentin in the SHU, when I was going out to a yard. We used to get yard every other day, the security housing unit, the hole, what we call the hole. We'd get yard every other day. And just about every other day, somebody's getting whacked, And, it was my turn to make a move, I had raised my hand to put my work in, and but I had to take the piece out too, So it's like, I remember like about 1 o'clock in the morning, the yard would be like at 9 o'clock. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, I started evacuating my bowels and voiding my bladder. And, making room in my cavities for this piece, and all I could think of that day as we was leading up to, the hack coming and getting me at the door to take me out to the yard, to cuff me up, strip me out, cuff me up, and take me out to the yard. All I could think about was, I hope I got everything out of my bowels and my bladder, so if I get shot in the process of this, I don't make a mess in my shorts and embarrass myself. That was my big concern. And I considered that normal thinking back then. I couldn't discern anything wrong with that thinking, because that was, to me, was a matter of honor, and a skewed honor, albeit, but that was my idea of normal thinking. I look back at that today and I think, what the hell was I thinking? What the hell indoctrinates an individual so deeply that that assumes a station of normalcy in your thought processing. It disturbed me to think that was who I was. And it's not just all. It wasn't just the indoctrination from my own people. As I came up into that environment, it was the indoctrination of the system. The prison system was designed that way at the time, and it's gotten a lot better, I'll give it that. They've got a lot of programs available to people, but make no mistake, there's no such thing as rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is a myth. You know, uh, if rehabilitation is to be had, it begins and ends in the individual man or woman who decides they are going to change. Nobody else is responsible for that rehabilitation. No other program. Somebody could. You don't have to sit in groups. Uh, it's not going to make you better. What you could do is you could sit in groups and discuss things and listen to other people's issues, and it could help you. Sure, sure. But by the same time, if you're serious about rehabilitation, uh, then you could just take the materials from that group yourself to your own space, your bunk, every day, and read these things and internalize them until they click and help you, like turning a key in a lock. Okay, I've got this door open now. I'm going to get to the next door, and I'm gonna internalize this until I can get a key to open this next one. But that's what you do. There's a line in The Birdman of Alcatraz where he tells the warden what rehabilitation is. And he says rehabilitation is reinvesting in a man's dignity, and that's true. A dictionary would tell you rehabilitation means to be able to place somebody or something back from whence it came, uh, in a wholer and healthier state of mind, and character. But I opine that that's more like a redemption, uh, and I'm big on redemption, real big on redemption. Uh, I've since I decided to turn my life around and walk away from all the former shenanigans I was involved in, I I've been seeking, redemption, what I identify as a restoration of the portion of the grace that I so easily forfeited, the innocence I forfeited of my own volition when I knew what I was doing was wrong and I did it anyhow. That's a forfeiture of your innocence, and you know, it can be on the installment plan, or it can all happen, with a single act. For me, it was a combination of both, and I have a lot to make amends for in society. So I try to do that. I try to be a good neighbor. I try to be a good citizen in society today. Anywhere where I see that I can help somebody, I try to do that. Uh, because I don't ever want to be the guy that I used to be. That guy was a monster, and I don't know who he was. I don't know how I became that way. It's not who I was raised to be, and it's not who I want to be. And I'm never going to be that person again. I mean, you know, uh, the only way I'm ever getting kinetic like that again is if somebody harms my loved ones. You know, Short of that, you know what? I'm in it to win it now. Uh, and I notice there's a lot of kids that just they got this idea, and it's not even always kids. Sometimes it's older people, that just they want to matter. They want to be noticed. They want to be, accounted for. Uh, they're not getting what they want in the way of recognition, from the places they've been, whether it's home, social circles. So they have this skewed idea that if they go to the joint and hold their mud and make their bones, that they'll be about something, and come out and tell war stories and lies and lie on other people, and you know, maybe they find a position in the upper echelons of some organization, and they believe themselves to be somebody because of that, instead of because of the way they treat another individual, or honor their word, or just whatever. I mean, make no mistake about it. within that organization that I was a part of, I seen a whole lot of odious individuals that had anything but honor. They were so dishonorable, it was disgusting, and that you had to be a part of them was disgusting, and it's the only way they got fucking where they was because of who they knew and the hand that brought them up and brought them in, and you know, uh, to say that fucking they didn't bring anything good to that organization to contribute, like some of these old school guys that I look to, is an understatement. I mean, it's so 180 degree to the opposite. They're just parasites, and usually somebody who wants to be something or someone for the sake of their own ego or their own ends. That's a parasite. They'll grab onto whatever life they can and suck it dry and discard it like a vampire and move on to the next one, the next unsuspecting fool. So there's nothing good about that. There's nothing good about fucking living like that, thinking like that, harboring a mindset that that's somehow honorable, because it's not. Eh, Too fucking bad whoever it offends. It's the fucking way it is. There's nothing honorable about it. I've often harped on, and you've all heard me saying, if you want to be about something, be a good husband, a good wife, good father or mother, a good sibling, a good son, uh, be be about something, My old man, my dad, he was about something, and I didn't realize that until I was a man myself. I mean, I took it for granted as a teenager and adolescent. I left home early, so but I understood. I mean, my old man just, he put his time into fucking retirement in the Navy, and he was a frogman. World War II in Korea, and he cut meat for another fucking 25 years, and he brought his paycheck home week after week after week and put it on the table for his family. Roof over our head, clothes on our back, food on the table. I mean, hell, at holidays, birthdays and Yule time, each one of us, my family, me and my sisters, we got more gifts individually than whole families of 3 and 4 kids got together. And I thought everybody in the world had it like that. That's because my dad didn't go to the racetracks. He didn't gamble. He didn't fucking drink or do dope or anything like that to get rid of all his money. I mean, he had beers, don't get me wrong, but I mean, he put his fucking money on the table. He made sure his family was taken care of. And I look back at all that and I think, man, that man was my hero. Why couldn't I be like that? I wish I could have been like that. I try not to be melancholy and wish for things that can't be, but I mean, if I had the opportunity to go back and do it all over again, that's what I would do. That's honor. Not the choices I made. I exercised not only poor judgment, but often in my own choice, my own volition. And I used to say that I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just living my life. I'm not trying to make anybody happy or sad. I'm just trying to live my own life. And that's weak. That's a weak antidote right there, because deep down inside, you're hurting people. The tears your mama cries. The disappointment your dad feels again and again and again. You can't get those moments back, but you can sit here now with the chance you have, or if you're just waiting to get this chance, you can stop whatever you're doing, the way you're living your life detrimental, and you can change it right now if that's what you want to do, and you can choose to flip the script and just say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna start living right. And I understand that that's subjective. What is right and what is wrong is subjective. Yet, as a yardstick, I mean, basically there are norms of what is socially acceptable and what is socially not acceptable. And if you just start with that, then what's acceptable and what's not, and what to build on, what to work towards. If you've ever been in the military, you know what's right from what's wrong in the way of honor and brotherhood, fraternity. If you've ever been a part of, you know, a bike club or an organization or something, you know what's right in the way of loyalty and honor, towards fraternal bonds from what is not, what is dishonorable, and what is, you know, deleterious in the way of thinking and acting. So there's a whole lot of things you can use as the yardstick, as your compass to go forth from. But if you know in your heart what you're doing is wrong, that you're living wrong, you know, today's the day to fix that. You can start anywhere, anytime, any day, any hour of the day. You can just say, "Hey, I've had enough. I'm done with this shit." You know, I want people in my life that that are valuable. They're valuable to my heart, to my love, but equally as important, they're people I can rely on. They're people that fucking, if they say they'll do something, I know that they'll make every effort to make that happen. And more importantly, you for them, that you're reliable, that you are reliable, that you do what you say you will do. Not, oh, it's 10 o'clock on Saturday morning and I'm going to watch this game. Oh, I said I'd do this, but I'll do it after the game. No, if you said you'll do it that morning for somebody, help them move, do whatever it is, do it. Just fucking do it, man. Just be there and do that. Honor your word. Honor your word. That's your currency. That's your credibility. That's your name, your word. So, that's my thought this morning. From infidelity to stabbing somebody in the back, as it were, to, normal thinking. What amounts to normal thinking. I'd like to do more of these. I sat down so many times in between these to start doing one, and I just don't know what to do. I really don't. I know that just sounds so trite, but it's true. I freeze up, whatever I thought I was going to say or had in mind to say, because I do this off the cuff. Obviously, you can tell that there's nothing scripted here. But I do this off the cuff, and when I have something inside that says, you know what, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk about this. When I go to do it, I go to push that button. It just, all of a sudden, I just feel like, you know what, I don't want to see this. Even now, I'm going to have to sit there and play this back before I load this up, and I sit there and think to myself, I don't want to watch this shit. It's like I'm not the celebrity type. I'm very reclusive, and it's not that I'm camera shy or anything. I just but I weigh that against whatever advice or wisdom, whatever experience I have to contribute so as to make amends for the life that I've lived. And I've always said if I could help just one soul this week or this month from making the kind of mistakes, commit the kind of errors that I did, then I've done something. I'm doing something. I'm making a positive contribution. And so that's my get down for this posting. My coffee's getting cold over here. And so I'm going to go. And before I do that, I'm going to wish you all well. Hope you all find peace in your life. Whatever faith you espouse, I hope it brings you great solace, and that the people that are serving your needs in that faith are honorable. Until next time, this is Dr. Goldie Kasparodis and Kroll, wishing you all good health and good peace.